Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian Kingsbury. Today we're going to do another Brian Reads the News segment. This one is coming to us from Get TV, and it's titled Chuck Norris 10 Facts About the Star of Walker, Texas Ranger. For many viewers, especially those of us who grew up in the VHS era, Chuck Norris is the face of the action genre. As John Wayne is to westerns, Chuck is synonymous with the distinctly American variation on the Asian martial arts films that exploded in popularity during the 1970s. His was the name many of us looked for when we scanned the shelves of our local video stores back in the day, and he rarely disappointed because Chuck Norris movies had one thing very few American action films had: a world champion athlete as a star. So it was pretty big news when Norris decided to kick off a television career in 1993, and it was even bigger news when Walker, Texas Ranger became a hit for 9 years. If you love the Norris cinematic kick-em-ups of the late 1970s through the mid-1990s, Walker will feel delightfully familiar. A bad guy does something evil, Walker pursues, and they end up foot-to-face combat. Who knew so many Texans could do karate? If you watched the show in its original run, you know exactly what we mean. If you didn't, Get TV gives you a second chance 7 days a week. Here are some fun facts about the action icon. Fun fact number 1, he almost died as a baby. Wilma Norris was just 18 years old when she gave birth to the baby who would grow up to be Chuck Norris. According to his memoir, Against All Odds, My Story, Chuck Norris' mom endured an exhausting 7 days of labor during which doctors feared for her life and his. Norris was not breathing on his own when he was born on March 10, 1940, and had to be monitored in intensive care for the first 5 days. Wilma's baby probably isn't going to live, his grandmother wrote in a letter that week. He beat the odds because he's Chuck Norris. Fun fact number 2, he was a shy kid. Chuck Norris' real name, Carlos Ray Norris, was named after Reverend Carlos Berry, the family's minister in Ryan, Oklahoma. As a child, Chuck and his family moved frequently. Quote, "In school, I was a shy and inhibited," he wrote in his memoir. "If the teacher asked me to recite something aloud in front of the class, I would just shake my head no." His weekly escape was at the movies, where he'd spend Saturday afternoons watching cowboy stars like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers. Quote, "Years later, I would recall those Western heroes when I developed the character I wanted to play," he wrote. Fun fact number 3, Norris learned martial arts in the Air Force. On Walker, Texas Ranger, Cordell Walker was inspired by the murder of his parents to become a lawman. Similarly, Chuck Norris used his shyness as a motivation to pursue strength and confidence through martial arts. While stationed in Osan Air Base in the late 1950s, Norris studied Tang So Do, a style of Korean karate that uses the feet and open hands as weapons. He earned his first-degree black belt in Tang So Do and a third-degree brown belt in Judo, and became a sought-after instructor for his fellow soldiers. Fun fact number 4, he had famous students. Norris was honorably discharged from the Air Force in 1962 and planned to transition to a career in law enforcement. No positions were available, so he began teaching karate in an LA suburb. His proximity to Hollywood made him a popular celebrity instructor, and over the next 15 years, his students would include Michael Landon, Dan Blocker, and David Canary from NBC's Western series Bonanza, game show host Bob Barker, Elvis Presley's wife Priscilla Presley, Oscar-nominated actor Steve McQueen, and the Osmond family. Norris even did a karate routine with student Donnie Osmond on the first episode of the Donnie and Marie Show. Fun fact number 5, his first opponent in a movie was Dean Martin. Norris met Bruce Lee in a karate competition at New York's Madison Square Garden in 1967, and the two martial artists became friends. When Lee was hired as fight coordinator for the James Bond spoof The Wrecking Crew in 1968, he gave Norris his first acting role. Chuck played a bouncer who confiscates the gun of secret agent Matt Helm, played by Dean Martin, then fights him. Norris and Martin planned out the scene, but Dean forgot to duck and was knocked across the room by Chuck's kick. Martin shook it off and went on to beat Norris in the film. Quote, "I may have been a champion karate expert," Norris wrote, "but Dean was Matt Helm." Fun fact number 6, he was a karate champion. Norris began competing professionally in 1964, initially to drum up business for his karate schools. He won the World Professional Middleweight Karate Champion title in 1968 and held it for 6 consecutive years until age 34. Chuck retired for competition in 1974 with the record of a 183 and 10 and 2 and was named Fighter of the Year by Black Belt magazine. Fun fact number 7, he started his career as an action star at age 37 and was coached by Steve McQueen. After Bruce Lee cast Norris as his opponent in The Way of the Dragon in 1972, student Steve McQueen suggested that Chuck pursue a career in acting. He scored his first lead role in the trucker film Breaker Breaker in 1977 and used the money he earned to develop what would become his big break, Good Guys Wear Black, in 1978. McQueen saw the film and coached Norris to say less, do more, and, quote, put as much of yourself into the character as possible. Norris wrote that he's been following that advice ever since. Fun fact number 8, Missing in Action was inspired by his brother. After Good Guys Wear Black in 1978, an Air Force of One in 1979, and The Octagon in 1980 earned more than $100 million, Norris was on his way to superstardom. Next came An Eye for an Eye in 1981, Silent Rage in 1982, Forced Vengeance in 82, and The Lone Wolf McQuade in 1983, each more successful than the last. In 1984, Norris wanted to do a film about MIA soldiers in memory of his younger brother, Wyland Norris, who had been killed in action in Vietnam. Cannon Films agreed to produce the movie, which became Missing in Action, which came out in 1984. 2 sequels followed in 1985 and 1988. It was the beginning of a long partnership with Cannon, which continued until Walker, Texas Ranger. Fun fact number 9, there was a Chuck Norris cartoon. In September of 1986, Norris lent his voice to an animated miniseries from Ruby Spears Productions. Chuck Norris Karate Commandos featured Norris as a government agent leading a team of peacemakers against Vulture, which the initial stood for was never explained, but it sounded scary. Norris also appeared in each episode in the flesh, literally using a shirtless in the gym to share his life lessons and show off sweet karate moves. 5 episodes aired in syndication, accompanied by Toyline from Kenner and Marvel Comic. Fun fact number 10, Walker, Texas Ranger was a family affair. Norris was offered the lead role in Walker, Texas Ranger while filming Hellbound in 1992. He agreed, and his Hellbound co-star Sherry J. Wilson was cast as his eventual love interest. Chuck would become co-executive producer on Walker along with his brother Aaron Norris, who had directed Delta Force 2 in 1990, The Hitman in 91, and Sidekicks in 92. Chuck's son Eric Norris was a stunt coordinator and director on the series, and his son Mike Norris acted in 8 episodes of the 2005 reunion film Walker, Texas Ranger: Trial by Fire. And finally, fun fact number 11, bonus, Chuck Norris has a new generation of fans. According to Time magazine, Chuck has become an online cult hero. As the subject of popular internet memes featuring hilariously hyperbolic claims about his strength and abilities, Norris even joined in the fun as a co-writer of the official Chuck Norris fact book, proving that Chuck Norris can truly do everything. Alright, there you have it, another successful Brian Reads the News segment. You can find this one at Get TV if you want to check it out. Chuck Norris, 10 facts about the star of Walker, Texas Ranger. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to give this one a big like. Hit that big like button, a big thumb button, and give this one a like. Help get it in front of a few more eyes. And if you really like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. When you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell, you'll be notified every time a new video drops. I thank you for watching this one to the very end. We'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.